Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. The unified heavyweight champion Oleksandr Usyk has confirmed in a post on social media that he is in training for a rematch with Anthony Joshua. So see here on screen, so you can see he's posted a video clip. It's obviously not in English, so I can't understand it, but he does post on the right-hand side, "I decided to start preparing for a rematch with Anthony Joshua. A large number of my friends support me. All the rest of good and peace. Thank God for everything." And this has been one of these things in recent days, from basically having been, we didn't know what was going to happen and when. Who knows when the rematch would occur, to signals that he was going to leave Ukraine, possibly had entered Poland, and was going to be in training for the rematch. So now confirmed that he is at least in training for the rematch, and we have heard from Eddie Hearn potentially it's going to be for June. But in terms of his promoter, Oleksandr Uysk, so he's told Dan Rafael, "We did leave Ukraine to start the training camp." Although he didn't say where specifically they'd gone, Uysk continues, "We plan to stage the fight in the summertime." So Eddie Hearn has previously spoken about June potentially that they're aiming for. Given it's almost the end of March at this point and Joshua has notoriously long training camps, maybe it's going to be a little bit later. We'll have to see. I mean, June, early June at least, feels really sort of optimistic at this point. Coming to a little bit of sort of argy-bargy that's happened on TalkSport between promoter Frank Warren and the lawyer for Dillian Whyte. So here's a little clip. This is pretty entertaining stuff.
We signed a form bout agreement. We had negotiations that said we were going to have further conversations about all these other elements. Frank should know that. He hasn't been told that by his lawyer or by his son. It's not my fault. So, Frank, tell me where we are on get Dillian's money guaranteed.
Answer my question, Frank. Why don't you want to put Dillian's properly?
Frank, why don't you want to put Dillian's money in a place that's protected?
It is protected.
What's wrong with that? Where is it then, Frank?
So there's a much fuller back and forth, pretty entertaining stuff between the pair, Frank Warren and Jeffrey Benz. And maybe you can sort of say, given Dillian Whyte's been pretty quiet, not really engaging with promotion, that this is kind of like a promotion by default, really. Whyte's not involved, so you've got a proxy in Jeffrey Benz. So Frank Warren's probably happy to engage here because any publicity is good publicity. About a month out from a huge fight at Wembley Stadium, which has sold about 90,000 tickets so far. And Tyson Fury, we've got a little bit more information on who he's currently sparring with. We know that Jared Anderson is not going to be heading to the United Kingdom now. He's injured, so he's off that card. He was to be facing Christian Hammer. But Joseph Parker, he's still living in the UK, so he's in that training camp with Fury. He's been training consistently with Fury for a number of months now. David Adeleye has been there for a week or so by the look of what's happened on social media. And now Martin Bakole is also in camp. Obviously, they're pictured with his child. So, decent sparring for Tyson Fury at this point. Shame Anderson's not coming over. One, because it would have been good work for Fury, and also for Anderson himself would have been a good showcase opportunity. Moving to Kevin Lerena, who's moved up to heavyweight, facing Bogdan Dinu in South Africa this weekend. So his promoter, Rodney Berman, says of this fight, or should I say of Lerena and his moving up to the heavyweight division, that he will be a breath of fresh air in the heavyweight division. Not only because of his matinee looks and lack of any amateur experience, but he also brings respectability to the sport and an incredibly charitable human being. But he can fight. He's adopted a similar style to Mike Tyson, hits with authority, and has great defensive skills. Kevin will be a major draw, and the big opportunities will come fast. He went from a potential jockey to a heavyweight prize fighter. That must be a first in professional boxing. Lerena coming up from cruiserweight, but you can see here on the scale here, looks in good shape for his fight with Dinu. And here is the face-off between the pair. So Dinu, who's about 6'4", has obviously got, 3 or 4 inches on Lerena. And I guess if he is going to be roughly around sort of 5'11", 6 foot, probably that sort of Mike Tyson sort of mold is going to sort of suit his physique, because he's going to have to really be a banger and try to get to the inside, work, and get guys out of there. I think in this case, Bogdan Dinu, it's somewhat of a yardstick coming up. Dinu's a mid-tier sort of gatekeeper, but, he's a guy that once he starts to get hit and hurt, he quits pretty quickly. So Lerena moving up. What do you make of it all? Drop a comment loud and often. Hit like, hit subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.